In the portion of Mattos, God tells Moshe Rabbeinu, before you die, I want you to take revenge on the Midianites for attempting to seduce and undermine the Jewish people. And so God instructs Moshe to get an army together, and that the army should consist of aleph lamata, that each tribe should have 1,000 soldiers, and together, by the fact that all the tribes would give 1,000 soldiers, then you are to take revenge against the Midianites. The question comes to mind, why is it that God tells Moshe Rabbeinu that he is to perform this war against the Midianites? Why couldn't he send Yeshua, his assistant? Number two is, why was it aleph lamata? Why 1,000 for each tribe? It should be according to the number of the tribe. In other words, if there are more people in the tribe, they should send more soldiers, and less people in the tribe should send less soldiers. Why every tribe must send 1,000? Furthermore, we find that when it came to this war, the tribe of Levi also sent 1,000 soldiers. And the question is, why is that Levi sent soldiers to this war? Generally, the tribe of Levi did not participate in the wars. Yet when it came to the war against Midian, we find that Levi did participate in the war. And finally, what is the connection between this portion of Mattos that is read in the 3 weeks between the 17th of Tammuz and the 9th of Av, when we mourn nationally the destruction of the first and the second holy temples? The concept of aleph lamata is that Moshe Rabbeinu was to fight against Midian. What was Midian? Midian, according to Hasidus and Kabbalah, represents discord and strife. And this is the worst attribute that a person can have, to cause other people to separate from one another through sinas chinam, through unwarranted hatred. We are told that the Holy Temple was destroyed because of sinas chinam, because of the fact that people did not respect one the other. What does sinas chinam mean? What does unwarranted hatred mean? That first you hate the person, then you find an excuse. Oh, I don't like that person. Oh, why not? Well, that person has a terrible taste in ties. Or I don't like that person because I can't stand the way they play tennis. What does tennis or ties have to do with why you like the person? You're jealous of the person. They're smarter than you. They make more money than you. They're more successful than you. They have more children than you. And therefore, instead of acknowledging their success and blessing God for their success and being happy for your neighbor, you find reasons why to hate that person. That is called Midian. And that is the concept of discord and strife. God tells Moses that before he dies, he has to fight against this war. He has to fight the war against discord and strife. How do you do this? The antithesis of discord and strife is unity. By bringing the Jewish people together, that is the way you'll be able to overpower the enemy from within, which is the enemy of Midian. And that is why Moshe Rabbeinu was commanded to take aleph lamata, 1,000 per tribe. For the letter aleph, the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, is the same as the word aleph. In other words, God tells Moshe Rabbeinu, aleph, take the letter aleph, because the letter aleph represents unity. How do we see that the letter aleph represents unity? We can understand this on 3 levels. On the graphic design, on the numerical computation, and also on the meaning. The aleph, we know, is a pintelef, an oibin, a pintelef, an untin, and a kav yirishamayim be'emsa. What is the aleph? It's a dot on the top, a dot on the bottom, and a line in between. So we are told that the dot on top represents intellect, chachma, the spiritual chachma or supernal chachma. The dot on the bottom represents the lower wisdom, the lower chachma. The idea of chachma is an idea, a concept. It's a seed. It's a little dot. Once you have this dot, you have this idea, you have this kernel of knowledge, you're able to develop it into understanding, etc., etc. But it begins with this little dot. And so the aleph unites the dot above and the dot below, the higher intellect and the lower intellect, with the letter vav, which the vav is the hook, which means connection. Also, the dot on the top and the dot on the bottom can also represent a drop of water. It looks like a little drop of H2O. The drop on top represents the heavenly waters, and the drop on the bottom represents the earthly waters. The Torah tells us when God created the world, the entire world was filled with water. And then God separated these waters. What happened when God separated the waters? He put some of the waters above, close to him, and the other waters below, down here on earth. The waters here on earth began to cry. And they said, why are you separating us from you? We want to be together with you. And that is why much of the water beneath or below is actually salty, because it's the tears of the water when they were crying, we don't want to be separated from God. And so God says to the water, I will bless you and I will reward you for staying down here on earth. That number one, once a year on the holiday of Sukkot, we will take your water and we will pour it on the altar. And that will be the Nisuch Hamayim, the pouring of the water. And because of that, they will dance all night long for the entire holiday of Sukkot. And number two is we're going to use the salt of your water to be put on every table, every Jewish home. And when they make hamotzi on bread, any day of the week, they will take the bread and dip it into the salt. So the idea of the aleph is to unite the lower waters and the higher waters. The concept of unity, the antithesis to discord and strife. That's the graphic design. Then you have the numerical computation. The numerical computation of the letter aleph is 1,000. Again, aleph is aleph, which means 1,000. 1,000 represents the world of Atzilus. We are told in Kabbalah that there are one-digit numbers, two-digit numbers, three-digit numbers, and four-digit numbers. And similarly, you have four worlds. The highest world, the fourth world, the world of Atzilus, has 4 digits. So 1,000 represents the world of Atzilus, this world of emanation. What is unique about the world of Atzilus is that the orot and the kelim, the lights and the vessels are one. In other words, there is no discord and there is no strife. Everything in that world is totally one and only. There is no separation and there is no arrogance. And similarly, we were told that Moshe Rabbeinu at Sinai received 1,000 lights. After the sin of the golden calf, 999 of these lights were taken away from him. It was returned to him every Shabbos. On Shabbos, Moshe Rabbeinu was blessed with these lights. And therefore we say in the Amidah of Shabbos, Yismach Moshe b'matnas chelkoi. Rejoice, O Moshe, with the reward of your portion, because God restored these lights to him on Shabbos. We are told that after the war of Midian, Moshe's final mission on this world, God restored to him these 1,000 lights again. So these idea of 1,000 lights represent the unity between Moses and God. And they were returned to him after he destroyed the disunity of the nation of Midian. And then we have the meaning of aleph. Aleph, spelled backwards, is Ephel, which means darkness. We are told that God sits in darkness. This represents a light that is beyond the light, or a metaphorical darkness. because it's so bright that it blinds you. And therefore God is in this place of darkness. This place of darkness is a place that is so great that no angels can enter. And therefore it's a place that there is no arrogance, a place where there is no strife, and a place where there is no divisiveness. And so here too we see the aleph, Eiffel, the meaning of aleph represents the antithesis to the concept of separation. So God tells Moshe Rabbeinu, you are to fight Midian. You are to fight strife by the fact that you take 1,000 soldiers per tribe. 1,000 represents the idea of unity. Unity is the antithesis to discord and strife. And that's why this had to be done through Moses himself and not through Joshua. For Moshe Rabbeinu was the one that said, V'nachnu ma, what are we? Moshe Rabbeinu was considered to be the most humble person on the face of the earth. And because of this humility, there is no strife. And because of this humility, there is no discord. When is there discord? When you're arrogant. Oh, I'm better than you, I'm smarter than you. But if I'm a nothing and you call me a nothing, so what do I care? I'm a nothing. So Moshe Rabbeinu was the one that was able to bring about this unity amongst the Jewish people. And that is why when it came to fighting the war of Midian, the tribe of Levi joined together. Even though the tribe of Levi never fought a war, they were not supposed to be in the army. However, when it came to the war of Midian, God commands the tribe of Levi to fight the war. As the Ramban explains, that why is it that Levi joined this war? Well, on a practical note, when it came to other wars, the purpose of the war was conquest. So you conquer a land, and now after you conquer the land, what do? You plow it, and you sow it, and you reap it, and you harvest it, and you start to do commerce with it. Levi was not supposed to do commerce. Levi was a tribe dedicated to the study of Torah. Yoidu mishpatecha liyakov. Their job was to teach the Jewish people the ways of God. And therefore, they were not supposed to be involved with commerce and with the earthliness of the mundane world. And because of that, there was no reason for them to fight the war. However, when it came to the war of Midian, because the Midianites seduced the Jewish people, the Midianites gave their daughters, and they told their daughters, go and seduce the Jewish people to cause them to sin. So now it was a war for God. It was to take a vengeance for God in the name of God. And because of this, the tribe of Levi now joined in the battle. Because Levi is all about God's honor. It's all about God's dignity. And here, the tribe of Levi are now told to fight this war as well. And that is why we find that the name Levi means to join. It is through Levi that you are able to join and unite all the Jewish people together and to bring this unity, this aleph, back to the Jew. And furthermore, Levi is the 13th tribe because the 12 tribes are without the tribe of Levi. We know Manasseh and Ephraim, the two sons of Joseph, were two tribes. So when we talk about the 12 tribes of Israel, we don't include Levi. Now that Levi is fighting the war, they become the 13th tribe. We know that the number 13 spells out what? The word Echad. One God. Aleph is 1, Ches is 8, Dalid is 4. 4 plus 8 plus 1 is 13. Echad. So Levi, now the 13th tribe, again underscores this idea of Jewish unity. And all of this is read in the portion of Mattot that always falls out to be in the 3 weeks, because we are told that the Holy Temple was destroyed because of sinas chinam. Why did God destroy the Holy Temple? Because of the fact that he saw that his children were living in discord and strife. That the Jews, instead of loving each other and supporting each other, taking care of each other, were finding excuses not to like each other and unwarranted hatred. So comes along the portion of Mattos in the 3 weeks that reminds us that we have to unite. We have to care for each other and love each other and find ways, unconditional love, to help our neighbor. And it's important to note, and I'm sure you know this, that when we talk about loving your neighbor as yourself and caring for your fellow man, this also includes your spouse. You have to take care of your spouse. And as I mentioned many times, the Alter Rebbe writes in Shulchan Aruch that if a man abuses his wife with words, then God brings divine retribution right onto this person swiftly. And on the contrary, the rabbis would tell their students, honor your wives so that you become rich. So if a person wants to become rich, he should honor his wife. And so therefore, we find ourselves now in the month of Tammuz, and we are entering into the month of Av, a time of exile, a destruction of the first temple and the second temple. So we turn to Almighty God, who is our husband, and we say to Him, you can't abuse us, God. And furthermore, if you want to be rich, you have to respect us. If you want to be rich, in other words, that you should become the God of the whole world, and that the Jewish people should make you rich by learning more Torah and more mitzvos, then you can't abuse us with words, you can't abuse us with exile, and you have to respect us and honor us. If you will honor us and take us out of exile, we will make you rich. We will give you plenty of Torah and plenty of mitzvos. So talking about the aleph beis, the first four letters is aleph, beis, gimel, dalid. Aleph stands for achdus. When there is unity amongst people, when there is unity in the family, then you have beis, which is bracha, which is blessing. If you have gimel, which is geneva, which is theft, discord and strife, then you have dalid, then you have dalut, poverty, you have nothing. So if you want to have something, if you want to have blessing, and you want to have the beis, which is the beis hamikdash, then you have to start with the aleph, with unity and love and caring for one another. And so it's customary that throughout the 3 weeks, we increase in acts of goodness and kindness, we increase in the study of Torah, and primarily with the giving of charity. And as it says, Tzion b'mishpat tipada v'shoveh b'tzedakah, that Zion will be redeemed through charity and through the study of Torah. And so may it be that we see the rebuilding of the third Holy Temple this year speedily in our days.